Hey, thanks for watching this video called Manage Your Poker Money, Build Your Poker Bankroll, Make Cash at Poker. You pick the title. It's all about the money thing. I'm Nick from Transform My Poker, and unlike when I have a conversation about money with my partner, which is a lot of give and take, I give, she takes, this is going to be all about your money and building it so you can do better in poker more consistently. Now, before I get into the tactics of doing that, and we've got 4 separate things that you can focus on in order to make it happen for you, I need to say one important thing. This is not for everyone, right? There are definitely 2 different ways you can manage your money with poker. One is to kind of build a bankroll through discipline and through taking account of the way poker's set up and being really serious about it. And I'm going to get to all that. The second is just to use poker as a way to have fun and to basically treat the money as something else you use your money for, your kind of day-to-day money, and never have a separate poker bankroll. So if one month you've got, $50 or 50 euros spare, you play with that. If another month you've got 200 euros spare, you want to play with that. And you can just vary what you do and play according to your means. The important thing is you never go beyond your means. You should never be gambling with money to try and win at poker, to try and kind of buck the system. You should never be going into debt to play poker. So I just wanted to say that up front, the boring bit, be responsible. But you definitely don't have to get into all this poker bankroll management if you don't want to. All right, if you're still here, I'm going to assume you're serious about building a poker bankroll and moving up through the limits. And nothing's better than that. Some of the biggest names in poker started at the very bottom in 1 cent, 2 cent cash games, $5 tournaments. There's no reason why you can't do the same and win your way up through the limits. But you're going to have to take account of a few really important things, which I'll get to. All of this that I'm going to teach you now is built on the idea that poker is a game of variance, right? You know this if you've played it at all. Your results are not completely under your control. Any given hand, aces, a full house, whatever, can lose, right? So it doesn't matter how good you get at poker, your poker graph is always going to do this. It's always going to go up and down. Now, if you're a winning player, your trend line is going to go up, right? You're going to win overall. But even within that, you're going to have losses. It's a part of the game. The problem this presents us with having money for poker, what we call a poker bankroll, is that if we put all of our money on one hand, even if we have the best hand, we can lose it, right? To state the obvious. So it's about breaking down that poker bankroll into enough pieces to prevent the risk of going broke. So let's talk about the keys to doing that and how you actually build up while you're still protecting against going broke, because it's kind of a fine line to tread. So point number 1 is, I don't want you going broke. You don't want you going broke. It's one of the worst things that can happen to your poker bankroll. So the way we're going to get over that is to be a nit. Be a nit. Be a conservative person with your poker bankroll. Now, if you watch my other training videos, you'll hear me talk a lot about aggression, making big moves, putting pressure on people. So we want to be able to be aggressive when we play. But overall with our money, we want to be super conservative because we're trying to build, we're trying to protect against going broke. So be more conservative than you think. Take your poker money, however much that is. It might be $20, it might be $2,000, whatever it is. And you're going to break it into parts. And those parts, those units, if you like, are going to dictate what game you play in. And I'm going to encourage you to be more conservative than you think. For most games, you're going to want 50 buy-ins. Some games, like if you're going to go away and play pot limit Omar heads up, you're going to want 100 buy-ins. Now, if the games you play in are really passive, like there's not a lot of aggression, and if you have a really big edge in those games, you can probably get away with less, something like 25 buy-ins, something like that. But in most games, you're going to want more than that for a couple of very specific reasons. First of all, you want the freedom and comfort to be able to play aggressively when you play. And then second of all, you want to reduce the emotional impact of losing. Think about the difference between playing a hand of poker where you lose, 20% of your bankroll on one hand, right? That's going to super suck. That's going to be awful. Then think about losing 1% of your bankroll, 1/100th, one of your 100 units. You're still not going to be happy, right? You've still lost a poker hand, that's no good. But it's not going to have that big emotional effect on you, and it's going to allow you to keep playing with confidence. So I'd really encourage you to be conservative. Have those 50 buy-ins, maybe more, maybe less, depending on how aggressive your game is and how big your edge is. And then if you get down to 25 buy-ins, be prepared to drop down a limit and play a lower limit and build up again. You have to have no ego about this sort of thing because your money is just a unit. Right? It's just a number. It doesn't understand how you feel about it. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. It doesn't understand your emotions you attach to losing or winning. It doesn't understand your ego, what level you think you should be playing at or any of that. It's just a number, and you've got to protect against that mathematical risk of going broke when you have a losing run, as everybody does in poker. This brings us on to the second thing, which is go low. Go low. If you're in any doubt at what limit to play in, whether it's tournament buy-ins or cash buy-ins, go lower than you think. Again, protect yourself against going broke. You can always move up when you've got more money to play with. And it's really important from a poker confidence point of view that you can beat the limit you're at consistently for a really big win rate. Sometimes I hear people say, I'm going to move up limits because I don't know how to beat these weak players, these fish, these players that play random cards. Well, let me tell you, it only gets harder as you move up. If you can't beat the limit you're at, you need to work more on your poker and understand how to beat those weak players. I will help you if you come over to my website. But you have to be able to do that consistently before moving up. So again, get rid of your ego, play at a lower limit than you think and build up. Some of the best players in the world, players like Doug Polk, the cash game maestro, Brian Townsend, my mentor, Jake Cody, the tournament player, tons of them started at the very lowest limits and built up. So why not you? All right, number 3 is to multi-table. Multi-table. Now, if you play live and you can't, or if you can't play online in the territory you're watching this video, then obviously you can't multi-table. So when you play live, you're going to have to grind it out on one table, which is a little bit more challenging. I'm going to give you an action in number 4, which will help you with that a little bit, but it is a bit more challenging. If you can play online, I'd really advocate that you learn to multi-table, play more than one table at once. I think 4 tables is a great number to play. If you're playing tournaments, maybe you can add a lot more than that. But take it slowly, add 1 table at a time over a period of days and weeks and get used to making more decisions. The reason this is so valuable with building a bankroll is that it allows you to play more hands, which allows you to, whatever your edge is, put it through the game more often and basically win more money in a quicker amount of time because you're playing more volume. It also allows you to break your bankroll down more. So if you're playing 4 tables like this and you have a disaster on this table, well, it's only 25% of the money you've got in play, and hopefully that's only a small percent of your bankroll as a whole. So multi-tabling can be really important in building a bankroll. Just why I'm on online poker as well, and this applies to live poker sometimes, if you are looking to build up your poker bankroll, look for bonuses and promotions and rate backs, deposit bonuses, card dream promotions. All this stuff can really help out, especially when you're early on in building up your money for poker. Finally, we've got to the fun part. After all this kind of conservative, grindy, boring stuff, take shots. Take shots. If I had one regret about my poker as a whole, and I've mostly played cash game poker in my career, it would be that I didn't take more shots, especially when I was playing a lot of volume. Taking shots is where you play in a game that's bigger than your normal game. So this can apply to tournaments or cash, but it's about playing in a game that's kind of significantly bigger than the one you know you can beat. You're taking a shot, right? You're taking a little bit of a gamble, but it's going to be a calculated gamble. So I'm going to tell you how you should do that in a second. The reason this is so important, couple of reasons. First of all, your poker development, right? If you're doing all of this good stuff and you're grinding away in a game you know you can beat and you're slowly building up, that's all fine, but you're playing against players that you know you can beat. It's really important for your development that you sample the higher limits and you play against better competition. That's going to force you to go to another level of analysis and play. So taking a shot at a bigger game can really help you with that. The other reason is you could win. You could put some money into a bigger game that you've won in the smaller game. You could actually win, and you may never have to drop back down again. You can actually leapfrog levels, whether it's tournament buy-ins or cash buy-ins, but you can never do that unless you try. So that's why it's important to take shots. Now the health warning. Never take a shot at a bigger limit with money you can't afford to lose. The most likely outcome when you're suddenly playing in a bigger, tougher game is that you will lose, right? It's one of your first times trying it. So always do it with money you can afford to lose. Ideally, do it with profit that you've made at the lower limit, a game that you know you can beat. So kind of, you know, you win like 10 buy-ins at the bigger game, maybe it's 30 buy-ins down here, you win those 30 buy-ins, you go, right, I'm going to put those 30 buy-ins into the bigger game, but if I lose it, I'm going to go straight back down to the game I know I can beat. You've got to have that discipline, because otherwise you're putting yourself at risk of ruin, and we don't want that. We do not want busto territory at all. But take shots within those parameters. All right, I hope that's given you a lot of value. I really wish you luck in building your bankroll if that's the road you decide to go down with your poker. One day you could build it into enough for a second income, maybe even turn pro one day. If you do, and this video was the start of it, I'd love to hear about it. If you'd like more help with your poker and you're ready to take our relationship to the next level and make it official, then you could subscribe to this YouTube channel and I will get you more help with different videos periodically. And if you're looking for more advanced training, then come over to my website. The link is right here on screen. It's transformmypoker.com. You can enter your email and get a free series of advanced training videos to really help take your game to the next level. I wish you luck building your poker bankroll. Have fun doing it. I'll talk to you again in another one of these very soon.